They don't follow. They don't like
Order, 7 o'clock, roll call, please.
Daly. Doty.
Here.
Dowdy.
Here.
Marvin.
Here.
Metzger.
Here.
Purdy. Here. Shook.
Here.
Barone.
Here.
Bell. Coffee.
Here.
Corey. Here. Zuhon.
Here. Okay, no announcements of any importance. Moment for an invocation. Heavenly Father, we call upon you in this time of being prepared to open our hearts and share in the joy for each and all of us toward our fellow man. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen. Moments for silent reflection, please. Please rise and join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have approval of minutes. We have a set minutes from the September regular meeting, which was reconvened in October. And at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve those. So moved by Metzger, seconded by Shook. Roll call, please.
Doty.
Yes.
Dowdy.
Yes.
Marvin.
Yes.
Metzger.
Yes.
Purdy. Yes. Shook.
Yes.
Barone.
Yes.
Coffee.
Yes.
Corey. Yes. Zuhon.
Yes. We have the November minutes as recorded. Motion to approve those. Purdy. Marvin, seconds. Roll call, please.
Doty.
Yes.
Dowdy.
Yes.
Marvin.
Yes.
Metzger.
Yes.
Purdy. Yes. Shook.
Yes.
Barone.
Yes.
Coffee.
Yes.
Corey. Yes. Zuhon.
Yes. We will follow now with committee reports. And buildings and grounds, Mr. Coffin, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On November 25th, 2019, the Building and Grounds Committee met at 5:40 p.m. with the following members in attendance: Rick Shook, Nancy Purdy, Juan Barone, Brian Marvin, and myself, Chairman presiding. Also attending were Monty Walters, Maintenance Supervisor, Brian Houston, Sheriff's Department, and Lisa McMichaels, Administrative Assistant. Under the maintenance update, Mr. Walters updated the members on the current projects regarding the courthouse. The gutter project has been postponed until spring due to there were some brick issues, and obviously we need to wait for warmer weather to do the grouting. The LED light bulb replacement is almost complete. The water line in the jail will be replaced soon, as well as a mixing valve replacements for all the sinks in the jail. Water lines have been moved away from IT equipment. Under old business, the bid taken at the courthouse on the roof for $143,400, which was the low bid, was motioned by Mr. Brian Marvin, and seconded by Mr. Brown, to approve and forward to the board. And at this time, I so move.
We have a motion to approve the bid. We have a second. Motion by Mr. Coffey, second by Mr. Marvin to approve the bid on the courthouse roof repair. Roll call, please.
Excuse me, Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Metzger,
Yes.
Purdy. Yes. Shook,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey. Yes. And Zuhom.
Yes. The rest of your report.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading that new business, a commercial lease agreement for the public defender's office was presented to the committee. Discussion follows. Mrs. McMichaels was instructed to include this on the December agenda. There was also a discussion on the job replacement and hiring for Mr. Walter's position. There was no miscellaneous business, and the meeting adjourned at 6:30 p.m. on a motion by Mr. Marvin and a second by Ms. Purdy.
Thank you, Mr. Coffey. In the absence of Mr. Bell, Mr. Metzger will cover the Office and Rules Committee.
Mike,
Excuse me.
can I just clarification first?
Sure.
Who seconded the roof repair?
Brian Martin.
Marvin? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. December 2nd, 2019, the County Office of Rules Committee was called to order at 4:36 p.m. with the following members present: John Doty, Jeremy Dowdy, Stan Metzger, Brandon Bell, Chairman presiding. John Doty and Denise Corey were unable to attend. Chairman Mike Zuhom attended ex officio. Also attending were Denise Shores, Supervisor of Assessment, George Edwards, Treasurer, and Lisa McMichaels, Administrative Assistant. Ms. Shores gave the tax cycle update and is expecting board review to be completed approximately near the first of the year. Discussion followed. In old business, the committee was presented with a resolution for the Supervisor of Assessment annual salary of $55,000. Mr. Dowdy made a motion to forward the resolution to the county board, seconded by Metzger, and carried unanimously, and at this time I so move.
Moved by Metzger for the salary for the Supervisor of Assessment is Ms. Corey. For a second, roll call, please.
Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Metzger,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey.
Yes.
Zuhom.
Yes.
There was no new business nor miscellaneous business. The meeting adjourned at 5:10 p.m. on a motion by Dowdy and a second by Zuhom.
Thank you, Mr. Metzger. Which we will turn to you now with Finance Committee.
Thank you. December 2nd, 2019, 5:13 p.m. The Finance Committee was called to order. The following members present: Brandon Bell, Travis Coffey, Mike Zuhom, Stan Metzger, Chairman presiding, Brian Marvin was unable to attend. Also attending was George Edwards, Treasurer, Lisa McMichaels, Administrative Assistant. Treasurer's update: Mr. Edwards reported on the sexual harassment training put on by Donna Rogers from our insurance group, CIRMA, and discussion followed. There was no old business. In new business, item 1, the members were presented with a resolution for an expense line item for possible expenditures for the bond project prior to 11/30/19. Mr. Zuhom moved to forward this resolution to the county board. It was seconded by Coffey and carried unanimously. At this time, I so move.
Motion by Metzger for line item expenditures. Is there a second? Mr. Coffey seconds. Roll call, please.
Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Metzger,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey. Yes. Zuhom.
Yes.
Item 2, the resolution was presented to the members regarding juror fees. The resolution states that raises fees to $20 per day for each day of service. Discussion followed. Motion was made by Bell and seconded by Zuhom to forward to the county board. At this time, I so move.
Metzger's made a motion for a resolution on juror fees. Is there a second? We have a second by Ms. Purdy. Discussion, roll call, please.
Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
No.
Marvin,
Yes.
Metzger,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Zuham.
Yes.
Item 3, the members were presented with 2 resolutions to abate tax levies. One resolution is for, the first resolution is for the building bonds, and the second resolution is for the school bonds. These are related to the regional schools office just down the street here. Mr. Zuhon moved to forward these resolutions to county board. The motion was seconded by Bell, carried unanimously. At this time, I so move.
Motion by Metzger for bonds resolution on school bonds. Second. Mr. Marvin, seconds. Are we clear this is regional or?
Right, and
Amendment 2010.
we are abating the levy, yes.
Okay, all right. Roll call, please.
Is this for the building bond?
This is
Oh, wait,
for
they're
both, this is for both
This
together.
is for both. Thank you. All right, Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Metzger,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Zuham.
Yes.
The meeting adjourned at 5:37 PM on motion by Coffey and second by Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Metzger. Health and safety. Let me make sure I find the right page. The Health and Safety Committee was called to order at 4:30 PM with the following members present: Stan Metzger, Nancy Purdy, Rick Shook, and myself presiding. John Doty was unable to attend. Also attending were Kelly Lockhart and Sarah Muller, both from RPDC, Dan Ensign from EMA, Julie Dieters from the Animal Care Center, and Lisa McMichaels, Administrative Assistant with the Care Center. Update, the monthly reports were distributed, and they are attached with discussion following. Mr. Ensign updated the members on the activities of the EMA department. Mr. Ensign has purchased new radios and will be working on a new grant. Under old business, Mr. Lockhart distributed information to the members regarding the solid waste and recycling township grant program. The grant program has been drafted for the townships and municipalities of Coles County. Discussion followed, and it is attached. Discussion followed with Ms. Mummel and Mr. Lockhart. To approve the program, a motion was made before the county board by Mr. Shook and a second by Mr. Metzger. And at this time, I would ask for a sponsor to approve that grant program. Mr. Coffey makes the motion. Is there a second? Mr. Shook follows with the second. Roll call, please.
Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Metzger,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Zuham.
Yes. Under new business, county ordinance regarding recreational cannabis was instructed to be put on the December agenda. Under miscellaneous business, performance evaluations for the Eagle coordinator were distributed to the committee. Meeting adjourned at 5:15 on the motion by Mr. Metzger and a second by Mr. Shook. Public health minutes. That will go back to me. I'll start off. Regular meeting of public health, these are the approved minutes, was held on September 19, 2019, in conference room 2 of Coles County Health Department in Charles. Meeting was called to order at 6:56 by Dr. Stan Huffman. Members present: Dr. Stan Huffman, Dave Cole, Dr. Michael Gillespie, Dr. Michael Murray, Mike Zuhon, Dr. Phil Kepton, Mary Wetzel. Staff members present: Diana Stinger, Gloria Spear, Lisa Sorensen, and Paul Howard. The financials, the minutes from the previous meeting were approved. The financial reports were given. All is in working order. The nursing report was given by the director. Environmental health reports were covered. There was miscellaneous discussion and also discussion on the health department's attitude toward recreational cannabis. The meeting adjourned, was moved to adjourn by Dr. Kevin, second by Dr. Gillespie. Meeting adjourned at 8:36 p.m. Now we'll move on to Road and Bridge. Who's Coffee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On November 25th, 2019, the Road and Bridge Committee was called to order at 5:18 p.m. with the following members present: Rick Shook, myself, and Paul Daly, Chairman presiding. Also attending were Rick Johnson, County Engineer, and Lisa McMichaels, Administrative Assistant. Under old business, Mr. Johnson's performance evaluation was discussed, signed, and completed. I'd just like to state that I think he's doing a wonderful job. The new business, a resolution to appropriate funds for salary and expenses for the Coles County Engineer was discussed. This requires an official letter from the state of Illinois, which we're waiting on. Ms. McMichaels was instructed to put this on the December agenda. That resolution for the 2020 county maintenance program was distributed to the committee. Myself made a motion to forward this to the county board, and Mr. Shook seconded. At this time, I so moved. I carried unanimously.
Motion by Coffey,
Second.
second by Metzger. This is for the county maintenance program. Roll call, please.
Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Metzger,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Zuhon.
Yes.
Next item of business, Mr. Johnson presented the committee with an agreement with the Upchurch Group for preliminary engineering services on a proposed structure replacement on TR 1-000 North in Paradise Township. Mr. Shook motioned to forward this proposal to the county board, and Mr. Coffey seconded. At this time, I so move.
We have a motion to engage Upchurch for preliminary engineering services. We have a second by Mr. Shook. Roll call, please.
Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Metzger,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Zuhon.
Yes.
Okay, a cost share with North Okaw Township for grout repair on structure number 015-3380 on TR 41, which is 1600 North, was presented to the committee. A motion by Mr. Coffey was made and a second by Mr. Shook to present to the county board. That carried unanimously. At this time, I so move.
Moved by Mr. Coffey for a cost share agreement. We have a second by Ms. Purdy. Roll call, please.
Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Metzger,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Zuhon.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson also distributed the county engineer's report to the members, and that's all attached in everyone's board book. Under miscellaneous business, Mr. Johnson has been nominated and elected to the Illinois Association of County Engineers Executive Board, and it looks like in 2022, he will be appointed as the president, which just shows you how lucky we are to have him as our county engineer. The meeting adjourned at 5:40 p.m. on a motion by Mr. Coffey and a second by Mr. Shook.
Thank you, Mr. Coffey. A bit of housekeeping. I skipped a few items on the printed agenda. Insurance Committee, Mr. Bailey is not here to report. Labor Commission has not met. Mental Health Board, Mr. Metzger.
There's no report, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. My apologies for Senior Citizens Tax Day Committee, Mr. Bailey. Sheriff and Law Enforcement, please, Mr. Coffey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. December 2nd, 2019, the Sheriff and Law Enforcement Committee was called to order at 5:43 p.m. with the following members present: Rick Shook, Juan Marone, and myself, Chairman presiding. Also attending were Stan Metzger, County Board Member, Jimmy Rankin, Sheriff, Mariah White, Landris, and Lisa McMichaels, Administrative Assistant. The Sheriff distributed the reports for the members to review. The board members reviewed these reports. Sheriff Rankin also reported that Chief Deputy Tyler Eileen will begin his position January 1st, 2020. Under old business, Sheriff Rankin also spoke to the members about a countywide noise ordinance that we discussed in the previous meeting. He requested that each member of the board review that ordinance draft, make comments and changes, and return it to him. Discussion followed. This item is to be tabled until the entire board has ample time to review. Under public comment, Mrs. White, Landris, clerk of Paradise Township, spoke to the board regarding the noise complaint. There was no new business, no miscellaneous business, and the meeting adjourned at 6:23 p.m. on a motion by Mr. Shook and a second by Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Coffey. Supplies and claims, Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Supplies and Claims Committee met, reviewed the bills, approved them to be forwarded to the full board for approval, and I so move.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve all bills and payments thereof.
I'll second that.
Mr. Barone, Francis second. Roll call, please.
Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Metzger,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Zuham.
Yes. Old business? Need to be brought new business? Miscellaneous? Okay, we do have need of an executive session to approve minutes from previous executive sessions, review them and have them approved. So, does someone sponsor a motion for that purpose to go into executive session? And we will do that. Mr. Metzger or Mr. Dowdy? Everybody understand what there you'll get copies of it here. Roll call, please.
Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Metzger,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Zuham.
Yes, it is 7:22. I will ask the members of the gallery, this will be fairly quick, so if you could exit the meeting room, we will gather.
Lisa back.
The next item of business, announcement of appointment. We have, or will be having an opening, Lincoln Fire Protection District trustee, and that appointment will take place in January. Okay. No special remarks from the chair. It's time for public comment. I have a sign-up sheet here. We can proceed. Remind you, 3-minute comment time. Mr. Stoughton, you are first up.
Now, what, I got 3 minutes? 3 minutes, wow. I remember at Lakeland College, they gave us 7 or 8 one time. But anyway, maybe it's Christmas, maybe I can run over a little bit. If, I'll try not to get carried away. I just like to, I've been thinking about a lot of events happening in November and December. We just had Thanksgiving, and we have a lot to be grateful for, of course. Going back to that time, I'd like to ask you, what do you want out of government? Now, we have too much government today as far as things being out of control with government. But our forefathers, I think, arrived in November 1620 and got off the boat after writing a compact, and were looking at a wilderness with nothing. They had absolutely nothing but their strength and their lives and God helping them. So I think we ought to really ask ourselves what we want out of government. And we ought to be careful of how we think about it, and we ought to go back to the old past. And so I'd like to give honor to God here tonight, a little bit of Christ moving to this time of year. It's probably more evidence that he might have been born in March than December, but I won't get into that. Anyway, here is what it says in St. John. And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. Now, that means there's plenty, if you really think about that, what that means is there's plenty to go around in life if we follow the law. And so it says then in the next verse, for the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Jesus Christ. Now that did not diminish the law, the Ten Commandments, what Israel had. What was being said here was that there was going to be a better way in Christ. Having said that, we know that we are saved by grace. We know that we are saved by faith. But we still need the law. It's being diminished today with its various statutes and judgment. And I was going to hear about the report on law enforcement. Somebody gave a report on, what is it, law enforcement? Some committee, what is it?
Sheriff's Committee.
Huh?
The Sheriff's Committee.
Yeah. And here's the thing. We can find a way that we ought to delight in the law. The law is good, the Apostle Paul said, if a man uses it lawfully, you see. And having accomplished that, if things are in order, we have harmony in life. Everybody gets plenty of this grace. We have everything we need in life when we follow the law. And I'm not talking about this foolish stuff a lot of times that is out there. There's a lot of foolish stuff going on today that they're making into law. But the law where property is taken care of, where we're taken care of as people and looking after one another. That's what I'm talking about. So we can have harmony, and I know that we've had words, sometimes we've frustrated one another, and it's not necessarily all bad. We do need to use wisdom, of course, but let's remember we're neighbors, and Jesus Christ came into the world. The angels declared that night that there would be peace on earth. Isn't that wonderful? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Donato.
Question first. Mr. Bell and Mr. Daly aren't here. I'm assuming they have an excused absence.
Yes, sir, they contacted me. Both have family matters they're attending to.
Okay. Wish they were here. Want to address the whole board. Quick question, maybe for Mr. Metzger. Something was said earlier about a bond pertaining, I think, that's with regional school. Something was said earlier about a bond pertaining, was it to the regional
Abating the bond, correct.
abating the bond,
The levy.
The levy, yes.
abating their levy? Is there a bond? Is there some way, is there some sort of bond that's being issued?
The school districts have bonds, and they have the means to pay that bond. It's the regional schools, and they have the means to pay those bonds. So we abate the property taxes, we abate that property tax because they have their own means of paying that. Property taxes are a backup to make sure that debt is settled.
All right, thanks for clarifying that. One of the things I wanted to say to the whole board is your decisions that you make on the county board, they have ramifications for generations. People that get hired, that get out and get pensions, especially at the government level where pensions are going to be paid 20, 30 years, these people are going to live a long time. There are a lot of issues in this state with pensions, a lot of issues with financial things, and you know, the idea here about bonds, now I'm reading in the paper, it said last time that you're going to see everybody wants bonds, everyone's going to want to borrow money. There's talk, the Charleston School District now wants money, possible talk about building new school buildings. You have Lakeland College wanting $11.5 million for new development that's supposed, you know, is going to cost the taxpayer for possibly 20 years. So you guys took a $600,000 bond out. All these things have to be paid back, and little by little, everybody's got their hands out, and the taxpayers are paying more and more and more. Yet we're not getting raises. We have to work harder, and we're getting burdened by every form of government. So I wrote something. It's 3 short pages. I'll read it, and then I'll quickly walk off. Many Americans, including myself, are disgusted and tired of politicians breaking rules, violating the law, and never being held accountable to the people they are elected to serve. The state of Illinois is a poster child for corruption and dishonest politicians. I used to think most of the corruption and dishonesty was displayed at the top of the political pyramid with the politicians at the federal and state level. I've also heard the saying that all politics are local, and after being involved with the concerned taxpayers of Coles County, following this county-wide reassessment for the past 3 years, I've come to realize that politics are local and that apples don't fall far from the tree, even when the tree is diseased and its roots are rotten. The Pledge of Allegiance we just recited earlier, we said the words with liberty and justice for all. We say that pledge every meeting. My question is, do we really mean it? Do we mean liberty and justice for all? I don't think the county board means it. I don't think a lot of our politicians at the state and federal level mean it. I wish Brandon Bell was here. He's been around since 2015. He was on the Office and Rules Committee. Mr. Daly was. Mr. Metzger was involved in it too. I'm not sure about you, Mr. Chairman, if you were involved in any of that. But if you do believe in liberty and justice, like you say in the pledge, when politicians lie to their constituents, I don't believe they believe in liberty and justice for all. When they refuse to follow the law, I don't believe that they believe in liberty and justice for all. When someone gets special treatment at the county assessment office, I don't believe it's liberty and justice for all. When people illegally take health insurance, I don't believe that it's liberty and justice for all. When the government uses unethical methods to extract taxes from the citizens, I don't believe that there's liberty and justice for all. How about shutting down citizens from speaking at public meetings? 3 minutes, we got to wait 30 days. That's 1 minute for every 10 days. I could give very specific examples of all the points I just made. In fact, I have plenty in previous meetings. So where does that leave us now? We the people are at a disadvantage because of our own caution. We actually have to follow the law, because if we don't, we suffer consequences. Unlike the county board, you have the upper hand because you can ignore and violate the law, and then we, the people, have no way to enforce it against our local government that violates it. The laws are totally set up to the advantage of the government and not the people that the government's supposed to serve. So the corruption goes on, and you sit there month after month and totally satisfied to continue to break the rule of law, some for your own personal gain, not all. This doesn't apply to everyone. This is a problem with Illinois at every level of government, including the local level. I'm not sure if we get resolution to any of the problems that we've had in the past and the issues that we have addressed, but it doesn't look like anytime soon. 4 months ago, I said we're giving you guys the olive branch. We met with Mr. Danley. We discussed different issues. We discussed some hypotheticals about the insurance program and some other issues, and yet there's been no reciprocation on the part of the board. All I have to say is, if we really believe in liberty and justice for all, then you guys would do the right thing. And some of you on the board know that you're violating the law, or that there's people on the board violating the law. You know it. The law is plain and clear. You know, we don't have to rehash everything we've had in the last 3 years, but it's just wrong, and people know it. And now we're going to an election cycle. You force us to file lawsuits. Don't force us to take this to the political level at the extreme and point all this out and try to get some of you off the board. Do the right thing. Just do the right thing.
Mr. Dukeman, you are next on the list.
I have not been coming here for 3 years. I missed December of 2016, so this is the 35th month for me, okay? But the one thing that has bothered me since coming for the last 35 months is the lack of information that people in the audience actually can receive unless they go to a committee meeting. So I would like to see this board change the times that the committee meetings are and have those of an evening. So everybody that works a normal job, that wants to participate in our government, can come and be here and participate. According to the Open Meetings Act, I have your second note. All meetings required by this act to be public shall be held at specific times and places which are convenient and open to the public. So that's all I'm asking for, is that we make a change. There's other counties that do it. We can come in at 6 o'clock and get it all done in one evening. Then more folks would be involved and know what's going on locally. Is that too much to ask?
We will, no, it's not too much to ask. We will discuss it and see
I think
what can work.
it could actually be a cost-saving measure also, because you got everybody here already, so you're not going to be paid mileage for, 5 or 6 meetings too, so something to think about.
All right,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you very much.
Mr. Kirk Allen.
Thank you, sir. Charlie, appreciate the comments there on the rule of law. That's one of the things we've been talking about for 3 years. Has it been 3 years? Tonight, you guys hired the Upchurch Group for preliminary engineering. How many have ever read the Local Government Professional Services Selection Act?
No, I have not.
I would encourage you to read it, because there's requirements that have to be complied with when you hire architects, engineers, or surveyors. And I'm going to bet that none of that was complied with. Go back to that rule of law. Last meeting, I didn't have my glasses, unfortunately. I left you with a copy of the Roger Woodward legal opinion in regards to the hiring of a assessor. Everybody get a chance to read that?
I went over it, but not with detail.
Okay, so the board didn't get a chance to read it? Quote, "Our opinion is that a county board does not have such authority. It is well settled law in Illinois legislative silence regarding a government position that is otherwise fully provided for by law is limited. A subordinate unit of government may not act except in accordance with the law. And under Illinois law, while a township or multi-township board of trustees has the power to appoint or contract with an assessor, when not elected, a county board does not. It only has the power to appoint, when not elected, a supervisor of assessments. Nothing in the code permits a county to contract out the supervisor of assessments position. Instead, the county board may only prescribe the compensation of the supervisor of assessment within the context of the property tax code, with that individual's duties prescribed by statute. The code also explicitly provides that the supervisor of assessment, not the county board, has the power to appoint necessary deputies and clerks with the advice and consent of the county board, whose compensation shall be set and paid by the county board. That was never done for Mr. Becker. In Illinois, the law is well settled that when the Constitution or the laws of the state create an office, prescribe the duties of its incumbent, and fix his compensation, no other person or board, except by action of the legislator, has the power to contract with private individuals to expend public funds for the purpose of performing the duties which were imposed upon such officer. That's the Ashton v. Cook County case that we published in our article 3 years ago. Because the duties and salaries of an assessor are set out by statute, and the ability to elect, appoint, or contract with the assessor is fixed at the township level, it is our opinion that a county board may not contract to hire an assessor. I'm shocked that you guys haven't had a copy of that. I'll leave another copy. The rule of law is all we've ever asked about. We've got an election coming up. Amazingly, over 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we exposed Darrell Cox and the gun running that he was doing and doing business with the county. And your state's attorney sat on it. He sat on it until 3 days after the election and then sent out the memo to tell all the police to stop selling guns illegally. The state police confirmed it was a crime. And he did nothing. Well, now he's going to be one of your future county board members. This is what happens when you don't hold people accountable. When you don't prosecute criminals. When you don't prosecute people that violate the law or hold them accountable. Now I understand there's a potential official misconduct with your own state's attorney using the office on personal matters. And if that's true, I would urge that he step down immediately, and this board should pass a resolution requesting that he step down. You have got to start reading the laws and applying them. And Mr. Metzger, earlier on you were mentioning about the ILCS statutes. ILCS is Illinois compiled statutes. If you haven't read them for your powers and duties as a county board member, please do. I would encourage that you do that. One of those, now I don't know who owns the company, but I understand the accounting firm is, uses the county, or that does the county finances. Is your brother part of that business?
Weston Company does the actual audit now. My Gilbert Metzger and Madigan assist them.
Okay. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but there's requirements for you in the county code for disclosure. But I'm going to guess you've never read them.
I'm not an employee of Gilbert Metzger and Madigan.
You don't have to be. County code talks about members and any family members doing business with the county. It's a disclosure requirement. My point is, there's a lot of laws out there that apply to you, but nobody's reading them. And that's a failure on your legal counsel's part. And in part, I can't all blame your legal counsel because he's a criminal guy. This local government stuff has taken us years to learn. But I'm begging you, don't do something unless you read the law and say, where in the law does it say I can do this? You hired an engineer. Where in the law does it say you can do it? It's in the Local Government Professional Services Selection Act. It's under 50 ILCS. In that act, it tells you the requirements that you have to follow in order to hire those people. And when you don't do it, what happens is the people's trust in their government continues to crumble. You've got to get the trust back, and the only way to do that is to hold people accountable, follow the law, and do the right thing. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Mr. John Kraft.
I think he is next. Can he go? Can he go ahead of me?
if you concede the floor to Mr. Perry.
All right.
No, I won't concede the floor, he can go after me. Are you guys gonna look at your wind farm ordinance anytime soon? Think about revising it or anything? Because I heard somebody talking before the meeting that 65 and 70 decibels was perfectly okay. It's actually 35 and 40 decibels is perfectly okay.
I didn't say it's perfectly okay, I said that's what a lawnmower generates.
That's exactly what it said.
35 and 40 decibels from the property line is what you need to look at. And you need to look at 3,200 plus feet setback from the property line. And you also need to put limits on the height of wind turbines that nowadays grow 500 and 600 feet tall. That's all I have, thanks. He's on the list, right?
Yeah, Mr. Perry is next on the list.
We got something we'd like to play for the board. Are you okay, John? You want to turn on?
Oh, you're not gonna go up and explain it?
No, don't need your help,
Huh?
unless you just feel like explaining.
I said, you don't want to explain it?
No, you want to.
No, I'll play it.
Hi, this is Rhonda Parker at the State Attorney's Office, and I am calling to try to coordinate a hearing in regards to Wolf versus Stanley in the small claims case. I have some dates from Judge Bovar's office. They gave me
What? Let me try that again.
Hi, this is Rhonda Parker at the State Attorney's Office, and I am calling to try to coordinate a hearing in regards to Wolf versus Stanley in the small claims case. I have some dates from Judge Bovar's office. They gave me Tuesday, November 5th at 3 o'clock, Thursday, November 7th at 2:30, Wednesday, November 13th at 3 o'clock. They also gave me a time on November 22nd, but it looks like Jesse's not available that day, so I apologize. Those are the only dates that I've gotten. Can you please let me know if any of those work? And if not, we'll go back to the drawing board on that. The phone number here is 217-348-0568 is my direct line, or you can call the office at 217-348-0561. And either ask for Rhonda or Jesse. Thank you.
Mr. Daly, would you like to explain that?
Yes, that's fine. My small claim suit was filed against me as a direct retaliation for my filing of 19 CM 297, in which the defendant was Mervyn Wolf. He filed a small claim that it was past the statute of limitations, clearly, as a retaliation for my job of holding everybody accountable, even attorneys. And I had Ms. Parker schedule a date that we could have a hearing on it.
Are you to use a county employee to conduct personal business?
No, I'm not to use the county employee to conduct personal business.
Well, what was that all about? Because she's trying to schedule an appointment for you with a personal lawsuit. What's that all about?
Well, I've explained it, Ms. Perry.
Well, it's not explainable. And you know what? It ties right back into the same thing about the insurance that we've been asking you about. It's the same thing. You have nobody to answer to. And what I'm trying to say now is, it's time that we get a special prosecutor down here, because I don't believe that's legal. That's what I believe.
You're entitled to your opinion, Ms. Perry.
It's wrong, because you aren't answering to nobody. The same thing with the insurance. All you did was parade us around the room and tell us nothing. You weren't going to do nothing about it, even though it is illegal. It's just another case and scenario what we're dealing with. We can't get straight answers. We can't get law abided by. I'm a taxpayer. I don't think that stuff ought to go on. I don't think you ought to be using postage that don't belong to you. I don't think that's right. I think it's way over the mark, okay? That's how I feel. And it all blends in with everything else for the last 3 years. Besides that, I want to tell the board about what I did yesterday, Rex and I were over and we sat down with our new supervisor of assessments. She's a very nice lady. I think she's knowledgeable. I think she cares. I think she's got some learning to do, but it was kind of nice. But the real part about this meeting tonight is I want to explain to you, since nobody wants to tell us what's going on, we kind of figured it out. We got it figured out. Because the numbers that, you know, and I don't want you to stop me for redundancy, because this is what we've been asking for, Mr. Chairman. We've been asking all along, just how did you do it? How did you do it? Well, we pretty well know what happened now. And I'm going to reiterate what I feel happened, and I've got the information that'll back up what I'm saying. I couldn't figure out why my assessments were so high, ballistic. And then when I got the appraisal and brought it in, they were half of what the ballistic appraisals, or the amount that Bob said everything was worth. He'd actually doubled things. And what we know now is that he was using cost factors. There's three ways of figuring out value of property. And Brandon was there yesterday too, so he was in the meeting. There's three ways of valuing your property. That's income, the income approach, the cost approach, and the market value. And the fairest way is the market value, because the market tells you what things are bringing. And it's also the one that most appraisers will use. The appraisers use market value because it's today and it's current of what the market bears. The cost approach, people, is the most expensive thing you can do to put on property. Cost is like brand new. And the only way that you use the cost approach is on new building. When you build something that's basically a brand new structure, okay? And what Bob did is what I think he did, and I can't confirm it, but from what out of the conversation yesterday, he's using cost approach on all of the property in Coles County. That's what he did. So, what I can tell you, and this is from the gentleman that I'm going to be reading from, is a CIAO, and his name is Jim Claridge, and he's the Loda Township Assessor. And here's what he sent me today, and I just want to share it with you. He says that the original real estate cost is not considered by buyers and sellers in the marketplace to determine value. The cost approach to value does not equal fair market value. The cost approach to value does not measure physical depreciation honestly, and if used, is used only for a newly completed improvement. The appraisal community does not normally value real estate on the cost approach to value, and that's exactly what Bob has done. He's used numbers that are not, that's why the numbers are ballistic. That's why they were like they were. I'm convinced of it. Here's the ongoing note. This is the most important part of this memo that I share with you. He says, using only original construction cost to set assessment levels may be a short-term effort to increase the assessed valuation of a township or county. But in the long term, it will impact negatively on the community and its tax base. Taxpayers will leave the area in even greater numbers than we are seeing now in Illinois. So what you're doing is you're driving people away from overtaxing them. And that's what we got going on. Now I realize none of you around the table understand the taxing situation. I get it. I understand that you don't understand as much about the situation as somebody that's in the middle of it. But I'm telling you as a citizen, there's somewhat of a problem with what we've done in the last 3 years. And if we continue to go down the road that we're going down and not make the adjustments where they need to be, you're going to have more trouble trying to figure out how you're going to pay for anything. Because this thing's not going to work and it won't last. Any questions?
I've got a question. If the cost approach is used by the banks, is that right?
No, the cost approach is only used on brand new structures.
Well, what I'm saying is
They don't want a cost approach. They want what the market's gonna bear.
Cost approach bumps the numbers up so the EAV goes up so you can bond out. Period. We've said it for 3 years.
Yeah, but I'm saying, is that where it's determined that
No.
they buy the property? That's what it's
No, the
called?
market value is where it should be. Whatever the market does during the time that tax year is what the stuff's worth.
I understand that.
Okay.
Where does this cost approach come from?
Cost approach is what it costs to rebuild brand new structures. That's the only time it's used.
Insurance.
And Mr. Fopay, I would like for you to report what we've talked about tonight, especially what I talked about, so the people realize what's going on over here at the county level. Can you do that for a change? Thank you.
Okay. Wrap up, motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Nestor moved to adjourn, is there a second? Mr. Coffey, roll call please.
Jody,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Metzger,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey, 2 1.